Welcome to another episode of Dashbar or Die. Why should you use Zest PSA? Why should that be a tool you use? Because the Dashbar. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but that Dashbar for our industry, for MSP IT service industry, there is not a better tool out there to make you more money and keep your organization straight and rolling.
Yep.
Than this Dashbar. There's nothing even close. And really, one of the things we're going to do is to get that message out there and better educate people. I feel like a lot of times if people have used Zest because they're so indoctrinated or just have used the crap that's out there.
Yep.
They don't understand, beautiful simplicity of something like the Dashbar. Because we'll get questions like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? And we'll say Dashbar. Go to the Dashbar, click on it, look at it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like 40 different workflows and questions.
It is.
That they're looking for, and it's right there in the Dashbar.
What about this thing? It's like, well, if that Dashbar gauge is green, that thing will never happen.
That's
you
right.
Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So in focusing on that today, let's review what's on the Dashbar.
Yeah. Or the Dashbar in Zest, it's got the 6 gauges you want to keep green. You've got new tickets, overdue tickets, overdue tasks. You have SLA health, average urgency, and finally customer health.
Yeah.
And those are the 6 gauges that help you keep your finger on the pulse of everything going on.
Going to make more money? Going to keep everything straight. We're going to focus on just one of those today, new ticket. And 3 things with new tickets. New tickets is one of the biggest factors, one of the biggest ways you can move the needle in your MSP or IT service.
Yep.
New tickets, they do not get the importance or focus sometimes. They need to. New tickets is big, and we're going to cover how it relates to the customer, number 1. So new tickets in relation to customer happiness. 2 is going to be culture in your organization, and 3, scalability. So number 1, customer happiness. How's new tickets play into that?
It was the very first gauge we put in because at the time we started building Zest, growing our MSP, we were at the place that a lot of MSPs get to. When you are a small startup, by definition, your customers always get a quick response. You have nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Right? And it's actually one of the things that lets a startup MSP do really well. Customers feel really taken care of.
Yeah.
Boy, when I call, when I email, when I do whatever, I get a quick response. It's also the place that you cannot, by default, scale without having a system in place because now you're busy. You can't reply to that email immediately. You might not be able to pick up the phone. And so you have to have something in place to keep that customer's, boy, I got an instant response, to keep that going in a way that's not crazy. And MSPs try to do it a lot of different ways. What makes the customer happy is to know they're going to get taken care of.
Yeah.
We see it all the time. You respond to a customer within minutes of them asking for help. Even if you don't fix their problem for a day, they will be happier than if you fix their problem an hour after they ask. You might fix it quicker, but if they didn't hear from you for an hour, that's what they remember. They remember, I never hear back.
Yeah, new ticket, huge, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you do it. First of all, you've got that beautiful Dashbar. You've got the new ticket button or gauge, and it goes yellow, new ticket.
Yeah.
Or it could be 10 new tickets, whatever. It goes yellow. You see it. Importance, like really important, right? Customer, when they submit a ticket, they know they get a response back. Hey,
An auto response.
Auto response. Hey, we've got it. But then that's where the auto response should end.
Oh, yeah.
Stop this silly automation when it comes to customer service. If you automate what you hate, but if you hate customer service, please do not be an MSP or IT service. Please, please. Because it's what it's about. So the next response needs to be a human. It needs to be eyeballs looking on that ticket and putting it in the right place and dispatching it. All these automation rules and stuff are garbage. They never work in terms of really making sure that customer is feeling that importance.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why it's so easy to see it, make sure it's getting taken care of. And that's how it relates to customer happiness.
Yeah, I remember being in a situation where the MSP had done so much work. They were like, well, we're going to always make sure the customer's expectations are set with this automated system, and they're going to know, here's our backlog, here's how long you expect to wait, all these things. And it didn't work, and it didn't help because customers don't always understand that.
Right.
And they put a ticket in saying, there's literally smoke coming out of the back of my laptop. I've seen, maybe not that extreme, but I've seen examples like that, right?
Yeah.
Like a ticket that says our whole business is down, and they didn't call, they just put a ticket in.
Yeah.
That's what you train your customers to do, put a ticket in.
Yep.
But nobody looked at it.
Right.
Right. And, there's no mechanism. And then the customer's terribly unhappy.
Yep.
I put a ticket in telling you that our whole business is down, and I didn't hear back for an hour. It's a no-win situation. So when that gauge goes yellow, you click it, you see the ticket, and then what is the process to actually personally respond? On average, takes 20 seconds.
Yep.
So the time to dispatch a ticket in Zest.
Yep.
From that gauge going yellow, you click it, you go into the ticket, you get to read it, and you go, wow, you're on fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to call as I'm assigning this ticket because somebody has dispatched it properly.
Love that you said that. 20 seconds to handle it the right way.
Yeah.
The customer service way. The way that you don't lose customers. You build efficiencies. You start making money 1 year, 4 year, 5 years. All these customers staying. Money just keeps piling up because you've handled it the right way and not all this automation garbage. We have medium. We have large MSPs using Zest, and that's what they're keyed into. That's what they love. Yeah. So easy to see a new ticket and quickly respond, quickly get to it.
And that's what it is for the customer satisfaction. For that first point, that gauge is there to keep your customers happy. Very first touch is I put a ticket in. Did I get a quick response? The last time we checked the average first response for MSPs using Zest, if you don't meet your first response target, you can customize that in Zest. By default, it's 30 minutes.
Yep.
But we see people change that to meet their business goals. Yep. That gauge is going to turn red. It's going to say you failed to meet this expectation, and your customer has been waiting and they don't know that somebody's on it or that somebody's scheduled it or whatever. Yeah. But on average, when you're using the gauge, 4 minutes. And
4 minutes.
That makes customers really happy.
Well, let's move from customers to org, to culture. One thing, everyone in the org needs to know and see a new ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Oh, yeah.
MSPs out there, IT service, whatever, don't give in to the garbage and lies of like siloing and all this kind of stuff. Team size that an average MSP is, even a medium or large, you need everyone engaged with certain things.
Oh, yeah.
And one of those things is new tickets. So as a culture, everyone needs to see it. Everyone needs to go, wow, new tickets just went red. What is up? So very easy to see that in Zest. One way that we just, made our MSP so successful was aggressiveness around new tickets. It was a culture we built within the whole org that we were going to be aggressive with new tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. That culture is very important because the expectations that you give your customers will never be met if they're not upheld within your company culture to, as well. And unfortunately, it's pretty common as an MSP adds employee number 2, 3, 4, 5. They're like, great, now I can segment this work and this person's responsible for dispatch.
Right.
Or maybe an MSP gets big enough, they say, I'm going to hire a full-time dispatcher.
Yeah.
But there's several problems with that. One of the problems is, like you're saying, it gets locked down.
Yeah.
Which means, it's that person's responsibility. Therefore, if that person, busy, sick, out to lunch, whatever, the customer won't get a response.
Turnover, your team size changes.
Oh, yeah.
So many things. But if you have a culture and aggressiveness towards new tickets, everyone's thinking about it.
Yeah, because when the amount of time it takes to dispatch a ticket is 20 seconds, then until you are a very large MSP, there is no reason that gauge doesn't stay green. Yeah. It'll flash yellow within 4 minutes.
Yep.
And that's the average, right? The mean is actually typically within 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That gauge is back to green.
Yep.
And it works at 10 tickets. It works at 100 tickets a day.
That's right.
It works the same.
Yeah, I love it. So that's the culture you want to build.
Yeah.
Last thing, scalability.
Yeah, scalability is the big challenge. And MSPs really, you can go on the MSP Reddit and just search dispatch, and you will find hundreds of conversations about how do you handle dispatch. And, I get an email if a ticket's not dispatched in this period of time. We have a dedicated dispatcher. We make everybody call. All these things, all these ways that people are trying to do it. And the reason is things that work well when you're small don't scale well to medium. Those don't scale well to large. Yeah. What the gauge lets you do is when you are a sole proprietor, that is the way you can dispatch your tickets.
Right.
When you have a dedicated dispatcher, when you have a service desk team of 10 or 20,
still use it.
It still works the same way.
Yeah.
And now you're at 100 tickets a day, right? Where it used to be 10, but you also have 5 times as many people
Yeah.
monitoring the gauge. And anybody, that's the other beauty of it, anybody can dispatch a ticket.
Yeah.
Dispatching doesn't mean you take the ticket.
Right.
Dispatching means you've looked at the ticket, seen if it's an emergency, personally given a personal response to the customer,
Yeah.
and that's it. And you're done. 20 seconds. It's easy to do, and you can do it the same way from when you start to as you grow.
Yeah. And that scalability matters. And also, I think it's just that mindset, getting back to that customer quickly, no matter what size you are.
Yep.
And then also, from there, the ticket can have a life of its own.
Right.
And it's very different.
There's other gauges for that part of it.
But sometimes I think as part of that new ticket process, MSPs or IT services are bringing too much into what they're doing almost.
Oh, yeah.
And again, the silly automation you do to put it here and put it there and all that kind of stuff. We've had probably, when we tried to do that at certain times, we had way worse trouble going wrong places and stuff and all that.
One of the reasons from a scalability standpoint that MSPs start doing crazy things with dispatching is the product they use puts so much friction in the way.
Yeah.
If you're using one of the large PSAs out there, we just said that the dispatching process takes an average of 20 seconds in Zest.
Yeah.
You can't even edit a ticket.
Yeah. Well, first you got to get a degree to know how to use
Right.
the other PSAs and that. Yeah. And then,
I remember in one of the products we used that to take a ticket and get it ready for work, it was 2 minutes of clicking.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the response and thinking or whatever. It was 2 minutes of clicking. Click, edit, set this, do that, set the contract, all these things.
Yeah.
And then what's the solution? We're going to build a huge, crazy automated dispatch thing. And meanwhile, all that needs to happen is a person looks at it, lets the customer have a personal response, not a canned one.
Yep.
They know, hey, I know this person. This person takes care of me, and they just said, I've got you.
Yeah.
And if you scale that process instead of changing your process along the way, your customers will have the same happiness.
They'll love it. You'll get referrals. You'll make more money. You'll have less chaos. One other quick note before we end: ScaleCon in October 2nd through the 4th. There's a product called MSP Camp that is just awesome marketing for MSPs, IT service, and they're having their first conference, ScaleCon. It's with Tech Tribe and them. Everyone should check it out. It's great. Another product we really like, of course, PAX 8. Just absolutely love PAX 8. So just throwing that out there. But all right, that's it.
All right.